Alright, hello you guys, how are you? Let me get set up really quick. I'm already ready for you guys, but let me get my phone stand. Alright, you guys ready to make these coffee cake cookies? Is anyone going to be following along today? Let me know. Let me find my YouTube. And if anyone's coming across these this YouTube video, just know that it's alive, so there's no editing or anything like that. So if you don't like to watch long videos and watch literally step by step, this might not be for you. Okay, so we're ready to go. Okay, so I already posted the ingredients, but like always, I will post the ingredients in the description box after the live. But you can also find it on my Instagram and in my highlights. So if you need it, it'll be there and in the description, okay? So we're gonna be making these coffee cake cookies, and it looks like a very long list of ingredients, but it's kind of like all the same things. And they're super delicious, super moist, super soft, and cinnamon is just really, really good. Okay, hi everyone, hi, how are you, Okay, so we're gonna get started. So we're gonna get started with our crumbs, with a crumb topping, which is the one that, you know, the stuff that goes on top of the coffee cake. But between you and I here, that is literally my favorite part of the coffee cake. I can literally eat the crumbs by itself because it's like the sweetest part. You're welcome. Thank you for watching. It's just delicious, the top part. Okay, so we're gonna get started. I'm going to get make sure I have my ingredients here. Okay, so for the crumb topping, we're going to need 1 stick of butter. Okay, so you do want your butter for the crumbs to be at room temperature. Okay, so you want some softness. You don't want super melted butter. So in case you did forget to take out your butter, just put it in the microwave for like less than 30 seconds. Don't let it overheat, okay? And that is my oven. I have some cookies already to go, so I can put them in the oven. That way we don't have to wait for them, and I can show you how they look, okay? So we're gonna need 1 stick of butter, a 1/3 cup of brown sugar, a 1/3 cup of granulated sugar, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and a pinch of salt, and a cup of flour. Okay, so we're just gonna start dumping that stuff in here. Okay. Mam, cuando tengas chance, ¿me puedes sacar 2 huevos? No sé si ahí, sino la cajota de acá. Okay. Y en un trastecito así, hondo. Please, thank you. Okay, so this is a 1/3 cup. I have a question for you guys. 1/3 cup. Do you guys, when you guys know when you get your cups, your measuring cups, and it has like the ring, and then all of these, pretty much what I'm saying is like this. Okay, my question to you is, when you're gonna use like half a teaspoon, you're not gonna use the rest of these. Do you take them out of the ring, or you leave them on the ring, use them, and then when you're gonna wash them, just dump the whole thing in the sink? Let me know what you do before I tell you what I do. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you probably know what I do. But let me know. I'm curious how you guys do it. If you guys take it out of the ring, or just use it on the ring, and then once you're done, just dump the whole thing in the sink. Okay. Gracias. Tan chiquitos. ¿Qué size? Medium. Okay, so okay, so we're gonna start dumping our things. Both ways, okay. Alright, so this is light brown sugar, okay? So the golden brown, okay? I separate mine, I wash all. Okay, a 1/3 cup of. You're gonna need some granulated sugar. Okay. Okay, so what I do, I leave them in the ring, and my mom hates it. She goes, you're supposed to take them out. You're supposed to take them out. But I feel like if I take them out, they get lost. Like, they get lost, and I can't find them again. So I always keep them in here. And my mom's like, why do you guys, you know, leave the ring and just use one little cup and then dump the whole thing in there? I'm like, so I guess the question is, what's the right way and what's the wrong way? Like, is there a way you're supposed to be doing this? Okay, so a third cup of granulated sugar. Okay, so gonna go in there. We're gonna need some cinnamon. So you're telling me that you take them out of the ring, use whatever you're gonna need, and then when you're done using it, you put it back on the ring? That's too much work. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So we're gonna be using, let me find my teaspoon. Okay, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. It's 1.5, so it's 1 in here. And then I'm gonna do half of this teaspoon. Okay, if you're not a really cinnamon, I am a cinnamon fan. I like to for the cinnamon to be there. If you're not like me, just use 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Because usually when the recipes call for 1 teaspoon, I always add a little bit extra because that's just who I am. Okay, so 1.5 teaspoons, and then nutmeg. We're gonna use 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. Okay, that's another thing. Let me find it. I know it's here. I took it out. Hold on. So nutmeg. I'm gonna do half a teaspoon. Okay. Once again, if you don't like nutmeg, it's too strong for you, leave it out. Okay. Just leave it out. If you don't have it, not a big deal. Just leave it out. I just like the spices, the cinnamon, the nutmeg. I feel it brings out like the flavor, like the fallish flavor. Even though I know we're not in fall. Okay, and then we're gonna do a pinch of salt. So any type of salt that you have. So I'm gonna do a pinch. Okay. These cookies are not for anyone. Well, they're for my family, but you know what I mean. Okay. And then so we're gonna do 1 cup of flour in here. Okay. So all-purpose flour. I'm gonna grab my 1 cup. And then we're gonna dump it in there. Okay. The last thing we're adding is the butter. Okay, I'm gonna use this again, so I'm gonna leave this to the side here. Okay. So I have my butter. You want to put it in pieces so you can blend it better. Okay. So once again, I'll show you right now. Let me put my gloves on. I'm reading your comments. That's why I'm looking over here. Okay. So if I touch my butter, it's soft. You see how it pushes it down, but it's not melting. You guys see there's no butter coming out. It's just soft. Okay, so I'm gonna dump that in there. Okay, and the reason I put gloves is because I'm going to mix it with my hands. I found it easier to do that instead of using a spoon and just trying to incorporate the butter really well in the flour. So if you want to use a spoon, a fork, whatever you have, you can do that. Okay, but I'm just gonna get in there and just mix it all. So literally, you're gonna smash it and just move it around. That's a good question. So I'm using unsalted butter. Usually I always use unsalted butter because I bake with unsalted, so I hardly ever buy salted. If you are working with salted butter, just leave the pinch of salt out. It's not the same though. It's not the same. You know, salted butter has more butter than a pinch of salt. But, you know, I have baked with it before. But usually I like to stick to unsalted. Okay, so literally you're just gonna incorporate, see that? You're gonna incorporate all the flour, the butter, just spread it out. Okay. And this is it for our crumb topping. Okay. And if you see, like, I have some stuff that looks, I don't know if you guys can really tell there, but this side right here, it looks pretty wet, and this side right here, it's pretty dry. Like, there's no butter here. So that's what you're looking for, just to incorporate, you know, the butter everywhere. Okay. This mixture right here gives you a lot of crumbs. Okay. So you might not use it all for your cookies. So what I like to do, and I'll show you guys what I have left over. So basically what I'm saying is, if you don't want a lot of leftover to have on hand for, you know, just to put extra on your cookies later on, once they are baked, once you're going to get into the customer, you're going to be selling these, and you want to dump some crumbs on top. If you don't want to do that, then you can cut this recipe in half. Okay. Once again, I love the crumb topping. For me, it's my favorite from the coffee cake and the cookies. So I don't mind having the extra. Okay. Okay, but definitely if you don't want to have extra, you just want to cut it in half, then cut it in half. Okay, so that's good. Okay. So I'm gonna show you guys how it looks. I'm just kind of getting a feel for, you know, where I see chunks of butter. But alright, that's it. Thank you, Callie. Or thank you, Sally. Thank you, Sally. I saw Callie here, but okay, so we're done with this. Okay, we're gonna put this to the side. I'm gonna take my gloves off because I don't need them. Okay, so we're putting this to the side. Alright, we're gonna move on to the cookie base, okay? So I'm going to be using my KitchenAid mixer. If you don't have a KitchenAid mixer, you can definitely use the hand mixer, okay? There's no issue with that here. So don't have a KitchenAid stand, use your hand mixer, okay? So let me go back to the recipe. Okay, so you need 10 teaspoons of butter, okay? So, and if you're like me, you're like, how much is that? I don't know what that looks like. 1 stick of butter, you know, your regular standard, is 8 teaspoons, okay? 8 teaspoons. So when you're using sticks, it has a measurements, right? Like you guys, I mean, these little tiny sticks, it has a measurements here. It tells you how many teaspoons. So there's 8, we need 10. So literally it'll be a quarter, like literally like that much to make it 10 teaspoons, okay? So this right here is salted butter. My mom buys this. I'm not going to be using that. I just took it out for you guys to see, you know, the 10 teaspoons, what it looks like. I'm going to go take it out of the fridge. So you want to work with cold butter, which is kind of weird, I know, because usually we have to work with room temperature butter, but we're working with cold butter. So put this to the side. Cameron, can you do a favor for you?
I got it back for 1 second. You want to do something?
Can you put the cookies in? And then just put a timer on the microwave for 15 minutes.
I don't know how to do that.
Kitchen timer, and then 15 minutes. Okay. So what I always buy is these big old blocks. Okay. These also have measurements, but they don't have teaspoons on it. So I'm gonna cut it, and it's cold. You guys can hear it. Kimberly, can you back the light off back again? Because you made it super bright. Thank you. So let me get a knife. Alright, so if you are like me and have these big old blocks, so pretty much there's 4 little sticks in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And like I said, we're gonna be using 1, and I'm gonna cut a little bit off from the next one. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Alright, so I'm gonna do my indentation where I want it. So there, and then right there. Okay, so literally I just cut cut through right there, so I can tell where I'm gonna cut the line there. So I'm gonna cut my butter. Alright, and we're ready. Okay. Put this to the side. And you're gonna cut it up a little bit because then it's just gonna get blobs and hard for you to mix because it's cold. Okay. So this is 10 teaspoons of butter. 10 teaspoons of butter. Okay, so they're in there. All right, 1/3 cup of shortening. So what I got questions on was, what if I don't have shortening? If you don't know what shortening is, it's Crisco and it says all vegetable shortening. Okay, if you don't have this, then you're just gonna use the same amount of, if you don't have the 1/3 of shortening, then you're gonna use 1/3 of butter. Okay, so what shortening does in cookies is it makes it softer, you know. Shortening doesn't have a lot of flavor though, so that's why we do half butter, because the butter has, like, you know, the creamy, it has milk in it. It's just creamy, it's more richer. Shortening doesn't have that flavor, but shortening adds that softer texture to your cookie. Okay, so is it gonna taste completely the same if you use all butter? Probably not. Would it taste bad or, you know, disgusting? No. But if you do have it, then I highly suggest using half and half. Okay, so on 1/3 again, and I'm gonna scoop some out. It looks like this. My spoon is not that strong. Alright, that's good. Alright, so put this to the side. Actually, we need the spoon, and we're gonna dump it in there. Okay. Going everywhere. Okay. Alright. We're gonna do our sugar. So we're gonna do, let me make space, or else I'm gonna get too crowded and then I'm gonna be a mess. See if I can find. Okay. So we're gonna beat this a little bit so it can get, you know, our creamy. Okay, so, and it's gonna, because our butter is cold, it's not gonna get creamy very quickly. You'll see lumps and stuff, so. Okay, let me go wash my hands because I got shortening on them. Creaming it together, okay? And we have about 10 minutes for our cookies to come out, so I can show you how they look. All right. So we have that. Okay. We're gonna add our sugars. Okay. So 1 cup of brown sugar, so we're going to bring our brown sugar back. Okay, we're going to add 1 cup. Okay. And then we're going to add half a cup of granulated sugar. Okay. I'm using the paddle attachment. I'm not using the whisk attachment or the globe. I'm not sure how you guys call it. I'm using the paddle attachment. Okay, so we're going to do half a cup of granulated sugar. Okay, so half a cup. We're going to add our 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. I'll talk about the crumble right now, okay? I saw your question. What am I looking for? A teaspoon. Okay, so 1.5. Okay, we're gonna cream that. And it's going to start looking grainy, like if something's wrong, just keep going. Okay, we're gonna add our 2 eggs, which I have here. And we need vanilla extract, baking powder, okay. So let me show you how it's looking. So it looks like that. And there's a lot here, okay? But it looks like that. Alright. Any questions so far? Other than the crumble topping, I did see that one. I'll get to it right now. Once we get there, I'll tell you guys right now. Okay. So, at this point, you're going to grab a spatula, take everything down. Okay. And your spatula is going to look grainy, like it's going to feel weird. And you're going to be like, OMG, what is this? But you're fine. Okay. So, next is our, let me make sure I'm following step by step. 2 eggs. We're going to add our eggs. So 2 eggs, and my eggs are cold. My mom, you guys just heard me tell my mom to bring out the eggs for me. This vanilla extract, I'm sure some of you guys are wondering where did I get it from. I actually got this at Home Goods a couple of months ago, and it's just been sitting in my cabinet. It was just time to start using it, but it's literally just vanilla extract. Usually I use a Mexican vanilla. You guys see me using it, and then the Costco one. So I'm sure some of you guys are like, what is that? Alright, so we're going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So 1, 2. Okay. Alright, and we're going to give that a mix. Okay. My mixer is not on super high. It's probably like at 2 or 3. You don't need to go up to 6 or 5. There's no need for that. Okay. Next is going to be adding our dry ingredients, which is going to be the powdered sugar, the salt, and the flour. And that is it. Okay, so now it's going to look, it's going to look wrong. It's going to look like something's wrong with your batter because of the eggs. It's going to have weird, I don't know. It's going to look weird. Okay, it's going to come together. Okay, so I'm going to add my salt. This is a pinch of salt. There you go. We're going to add the baking powder. So it is not baking soda. Baking soda and baking powder are not the same thing. Joshua, they'll be ready in the next 40 minutes maybe. So baking soda and baking powder is not the same thing. Make sure you're using baking powder. Okay, baking powder. So it is not packed. So So if you guys, when I started to do recipes and they would call for packed brown sugar, I'm like, what the heck is that? So for all my newbies out there who have never come across that, she is asking if when I put the brown sugar, am I packing it in, literally packing it in? I don't. I did not do that. So I literally scooped it, make sure I had about a cup, and then I just threw it in there. I didn't pack it down in there. So I hope that helps. All right. So we're gonna need 2 teaspoons. This is. I'm trying to find another one, but I think I'm only gonna have this one here. All right. So 1, 2. All right, and we're gonna get our flour. Okay, so for this, I'm gonna put 1 cup in. The recipe calls for 3 cups, but I'm gonna start with 1 cup because I want to show you guys that not always is gonna be 3 cups, and you might need a little bit more flour, or you might need a little bit less flour. So I want to teach you guys that instead of just adding the 3 cups, okay? Because I could. There's not a lot of batter, so I could add the 3 cups all at once, but I'm not going to. Okay? So I'm gonna grab 1 cup. Okay, so 1 cup. I'm gonna dump it in there, and then I'm gonna give that a mix. Okay. If you're like really big on the powder coming out and all that, put like a towel over this. Put a towel so you don't see the flour cloud. I don't care about that stuff, so I don't do that. Okay. So once I mix it, let me bring it down. Okay, you're gonna see flour on the edges like that. Don't over mix it. Just go in with your spatula and grab all that flour that you see there. Okay, and okay, it looks like this now. Okay, if I go in there and let me put a glove on because I'm not trying to get my hands all sticky. This is just me. I can just literally, you guys, I can just put in the cups and not talk about this, but I want you guys to learn about when to know how much flour to add, how to tell. Okay, so literally if I touch it, see how it's like all sticky? Okay, this is how you know you need more flour in there. Okay, and you're like, well, obviously you only put 1 cup. Okay, but you guys know what I mean. Okay, so I'll put it back in there. I'm gonna grab my 2nd cup. Okay, and my hands are filled, so I'm gonna try to do this with 1 hand. Okay, so another cup, and we're gonna mix it. Okay, I can already smell the cookies. We have about a minute left, so I'm gonna check on them, and then make sure if they need more time, I'll leave them there for a little bit longer. Okay. So all you're doing is beating it till you kind of see the flour incorporate. You're not over beating it. You're not over mixing, I mean. Literally till you see the flour incorporate into your dough. That's it. You're done. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pick some up. I'm going to clean my hands. Okay. So it feels better, but it's still sticky. Okay? Okay, let me go check on the cookies before I add the rest, okay? Okay, I decided to take them out, okay? So I'll show you guys right now, okay? For the 3rd cup, I'm gonna do half a cup, okay? the reason why it varies and the reason that it depends, it's on the temperature, your environment. So if your butter was softer than mine, it's gonna need more butter. If your butter was colder than mine, it's gonna need less flour. Okay, so I hope you guys are taking notes because this goes for all cookies. Okay, not just this. Okay, so I'm gonna do half. Okay, and then we're gonna check from there. Okay, it's incorporated. Okay, looks better. Okay, I'm gonna put gloves on again just because. Okay, I'm gonna grab some. See? It's still a little sticky, right? Okay, but it's much better. I can handle it, but it's still sticky, okay? So I'm gonna add the third cup, okay? So, the third cup, the other half. Okay, so this is the final 3 cups total. Where's the, oh my gosh, I literally put my hand in there. I usually have a container, but my container is full and I want to get rid of this bag that I have here. Use it up. I was like about to add the whole cup. Half. Okay, if I confused anyone, this makes it 3 cups of flour right here. Okay? 3 cups of flour. Okay? Alright. I'm gonna take this off. You're gonna see it. My thing is a little old already. Kind of like making the dough already. Alright, it's incorporated. We're gonna do a last check. Okay, put gloves on again. Actually, I'm not gonna put gloves on already because I kind of already can tell my dough is pretty much done. So I'm gonna grab some. You see? This is what you want. Okay? If you added your 3 cups of flour and you are still feeling it icky and sticky where you can't do this, then add a little bit more flour. You're gonna add a 1/4 cup of flour. If that still doesn't give you this, then add another 1/4. Okay? So because it's gonna vary. For some of you guys, it might be less than 3 cups, and for some of us, it's gonna be 3 cups. And for a lot of us, it's going to be more than 3 cups, okay? So that's it, okay? I'm gonna take this off, okay? And it looks like this. It's not a ball, it's crumbly. Okay? Okay, I'm gonna make space here. I'm gonna wash my hands. Put all this inside. Okay, so how many can you get out of this batch is going to depend on the scooper you are using. So I decided to go with small cookies. I'll show you I have some made. I'll show you the size. So for that, I'm using a small cookie scoop. This is it right here. Okay, if you want to know how much is, how many teaspoons, it says it's about 2 teaspoons of cookie dough in here, okay? You can definitely go bigger, okay? Whatever you want, okay? For when I use a small cookie scoop, the 2 teaspoons, I got more than 48 cookies, okay? For some of you guys, that's a lot. For me, I love to get, I love to work with recipes when I can get a lot because I can pass them out. I can give them to my customers as thank you gifts, so on, so on. I like batches where I can get a lot. But if you are doing this for your family and 48 sounds a lot to you, you can refrigerate the dough. I already tested that. Refrigerate the dough, and whenever you are in the mood or craving some cookies, you can just take out your dough, and probably it'll last you a good 7 days. Make sure you wrap it really good, and it'll last you 7 days. Take it out and then scoop out your cookies whenever you're craving some. And for the person that, I'm not sure who it was that asked me about the crumbs, so this is my leftover, what I had, okay, what I had. Let me dump this. I want to give you guys, because I know some of you guys are like, well, how much is that? How much did you have left over? So I'm literally just going to use this cup and try to give you guys an idea. Okay, so probably a cup and probably like a quarter or half maybe. Okay, this is how much crumbs topping I had left over after about 50 cookies. So if this is not what you want, you don't want to have this on hand, you don't know, cut the recipe in half of the crumb. Okay, so what I plan to do is I'm going to spread this out in a baking sheet like this. I'm going to dump my crumbs on there, and then I'm going to bake it for like 5 minutes. Okay, and then I'm going to use that crumb topping to put on top of my cookies. When I'm packaging them up or putting them in a bag, I'll add extra crumbs inside those bags, because this cookies, and I'll show you guys right now, when you bite into them, the topping kind of just, it doesn't stay on super good. So I like to have extra in my bag or on top of my cookies to make up for, you know, the crumbs that are kind of falling. That's just me though, okay? That's just me. Okay, so you're going to need a cookie sheet. And if you don't have a silicone mat, you can use parchment paper. Don't use wax paper, okay? Your oven will start kind of smoking. So parchment paper or a silicone mat, okay? So I'm gonna start scooping them out. So literally, you're gonna go in there, level it out like this, and you're going to dump it in there, okay? So it looks like that. You're not rolling it into a ball, none of that. You're literally doing this, okay? So I'm gonna scoop some out. Okay, I'm gonna I can probably fit about 15 on my sheet. Alright, so they're looking like that. I'm gonna just do this last row and then I'll move on. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, next you're going to grab I suggest working with one of these measuring spoons. Why? Because you're pretty much trying to create is it called a dam? Like a indentation in your cookie so it can hold the crumbs, okay? So if you use a regular spoon, it's not completely round. So it's not gonna give you that deep hole that you want. So and it's not super, it's not a circle, like it's not a circle. A thumbprint, yeah, kind of like a thumbprint, but yeah, a thumbprint, a little bit deeper, so I can put in my my crumbs. But okay, so I like to use this because this is 1 tablespoon, but let me show you. So you're literally gonna press down. Okay, and this is where the crumbs are going to be at. Okay, so let me show you if I use a spoon. It creates it, but it gives me a really flat, like, see how here is like deep, but here is like flat, and that's because it's not super round. Okay, so I suggest using these measuring. Okay, so I'm literally just gonna go in there, and you just, doesn't take long. It might, your cookie might crack, like it might open up, that's fine, don't worry about it. Okay. Okay, we have that. Okay, now we're gonna grab our crumbs that we made earlier, and we're gonna put them in there. Okay, don't be scared to overpack them. Okay, literally, you're gonna see crumbs falling on the edge here. Don't let your OCD get to you and try to pick up. No. Just pack the crumbs. Okay. So we are going to be baking these at 350. So 350. This size of cookie for me took me 15 minutes. Okay. So I always tell you guys that all ovens are different. For me, I live in a high altitude place, so my stuff takes forever to bake. So I suggest if you're going to be doing this type of size cookie, I suggest doing 10 minutes and then I'll go from there. Okay, but mine took 15 minutes. Okay, if you're going to be doing larger cookies, then it's gonna take longer. Okay, and I'll show you guys what you're looking for in the oven, because I don't want you guys to over bake them. Okay, so they look like that. I'm trying to show you, but my kitchen imager is in the way. Okay, so they're gonna go into the oven. Well, they're gonna sit here. Let me go get before I go get the cookies, let me talk about the crumb topping. I hope whoever asked the question is still in here. So you can put this in the fridge when it's not baked. So if you didn't bake it yet, or it's just the flour, the mixture, like for example this, you have leftover, put it in a Ziploc bag and store it in your fridge. Okay, if it's baked already, just put it in a Ziploc bag and leave it out at room temperature. It's totally fine. Okay, but if you haven't done the baking part, just put it in the fridge. It'll last you longer because it has the flour and all that. It'll just hold better in the fridge. But once it's baked, you can leave it out. Okay, let me go get the cookies. So here they are, voila, all baked. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys what you guys are looking for, okay? Because I don't want you guys to overbake them, or else they're gonna be crispy. You want soft cookies, okay? So when I took them out of the oven, when I checked, I can literally pick up the cookie a little bit. It was super hot in there, obviously, but I can pick it up and I can just tell, like, okay, it holds it. It was holding together. If you pick it up and it's like just falling apart, definitely not ready, okay? I don't want to tell you guys to look for the golden tone of the cookie. On the bottom, you kind of see, that it's kind of gold. because at that point I feel like it's overbaked. So let me flip them over. So mine don't really have that gold tone. See how like there's a little bit of brown right here, but that's it. They don't really have that gold look to it. When you pull them out, you're going to feel like they're raw. Okay, the look of it is gonna look white, and it's going to look, they don't look wet anymore though. They look, your gut, you know, your gut's gonna tell you that it needs more time. Okay, what I suggest doing is, if you can pick up the cookie, you know, it's been 10 minutes, and you can pick up the cookie like this, hold together, and you see a little bit of brown, like a little bit, take them out, let them cool for at least, I don't know how long they've been out, but I can pick it up and I can open it up and see how it tastes now. Okay, if you feel, I'm gonna open it up right now and show you guys the texture inside, but if I open it right now and I feel like, you know what, it needs a little bit more time, that's how you get to know your oven. So the next batch that I put in, I'm gonna do maybe 18 minutes for me, maybe 16 minutes. So the first batch, it might come out overbaked, or it might come out underbaked, or they might come out perfect. Make sure you write everything down though, or else you're gonna forget. Okay, so I'm gonna, before I open them, you can eat them like this. Certainly you can pass them out like this. The way I saw them was they dusted powdered sugar on top. And you might think that it's super sugar, but it's not. Okay, it's not super sweet. For me, it's not. You guys know I like sweet stuff. Okay, so let me get my powdered sugar. And this is just a small sifter. Okay. And we're literally just gonna dust them. Okay. Okay, so now let me cut one open. They're still on the warm side, okay? I will save the live. I'm trying to show you guys the inside. It looks a little bit like a cake. Like it has like a cakey look to it, okay? But it doesn't look wet. Okay, I'm gonna try it. So good. You know, your texture is good. They are meant to be soft, okay? If you like crispy cookies, then overbake them a little bit. So, I have 2 cookies that I saved from the day I made them, which was, I'm not sure, I think I made them Monday maybe? Maybe Tuesday. And I saved 2 cookies just to show you guys how, because I know some of my bakers are in here, how long do they last? So I wanted to have that answer for you. So let me bring out the little cookies that I had saved. If I can find them, because I'm not sure where they left. Oh, they're right. Okay. So they're a couple of days old. And I just literally put them in a Ziploc bag. They were covered like this and at room temperature. So what I'm looking for is the texture. If the texture changed, if they're getting dry, if they got super hard after a couple of days. So that's what I'm looking for. Okay. So we're gonna cut one. They're still soft. Not as soft as the first day, obviously, but they are still soft cookies. They're not hard rock, none of that. It was just soft and melting in your mouth. So I hope that answers that question. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, start asking them, because we're pretty much done here. I have to bake all those other cookies because my family is waiting for them. But let me check the comment section really quick to make sure I didn't miss anything. Danny, how would you package these cookies for customers? Do they fall apart easily? So they can be stacked up with no problem. They don't fall apart. They're not. They have structure. They're not. They're crumbly when you bite into them, and when in your mouth they melt, but they're not crumbly like. And these are kind of worn. If you let them cool down, they'll have more structure. For me, I don't plan to sell them like in big batches. But if I would in a box and just in a bakery box, put wax paper down, and then just line them up. I would line them up like this, kind of laying down like this. So what I'm saying. What I meant when it crumbles, this is what I mean, okay? So I would stack them up like this in a bakery box. Okay, put wax paper down and then line them up like this, okay? You can individually wrap them if you want to. Put them in a baggie, in a cellophane bag with a little bowl, stack like this, okay? So what I meant with crumbly, I meant this, okay? This is the crumbs, okay? The crumbs is what's kind of crumbly. And that's why I'm okay with the leftover, because I will bake the leftover, like I told you guys, and then put a little bit extra on the top of my cookies. So it has more crumbs. In case they do fall, the customer can go in there and pick them up if that's what they like, But yeah, overall the cookie itself, it's good. It's just the crumbly part that kind of just, it's crumble. It's crumbly, It's in the name. Okay. They are delicious. Honestly, they are delicious. I suggest if you're going to sell them, to name them coffee cake cookies though, okay? And the reason why is because I didn't tell no one the name. And by no one, I mean my kids and people that tried them. I told them to try it, and they're like, they're really good, but they couldn't put it together, okay? That it's coffee cake flavor. They told me it was kind of like a snickerdoodle. They mentioned that it was cinnamon, that it was, they liked it. And I was like, it's supposed to taste like coffee cake. And once I said coffee cake, they're like, oh, yeah, it tastes like coffee cake. So make sure you name them that, or else they're not gonna put it together. So yeah, okay. Doing it with you, and I did a double batch. I want to see how many come out. Okay, Norma, let me know, because I do want to, let me see if they double, good, because that's a good question. I haven't doubled the recipe. Usually it should be good, but let me know, and how many you got. What type of mat am I using? This is just a silicone mat. I think I got this off Amazon. It came like in a 2-pack. I've also have Amazon ones that are gray, and they work really good. So the butter, it's just that a measuring teaspoon and it's less butter. Okay, so you don't have to. What are you? Who is it? Huzel. It's 1 stick. I still have it here. How come nobody corrected me? Did I put that on the recipe? Did I say teaspoons? You guys have been, I think it was you that said, is it teaspoon or tablespoons? And I'm like, teaspoons. And right now I'm like reading it. I'm so sorry. Did anyone correct me? OMG, I have to go check the recipe now. I don't even want to go look. I don't even want to go look on Instagram. I don't want to. OMG, I hope everyone comes and watches the video. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It is tablespoons. Okay? So it's 1 stick and 1/4 of the stick. Okay, so I did say that, but in the recipe, I don't know if I put tablespoons. I really hope I did though. Norma, did you put tablespoons? Ay, Danita. Okay, I'm so sorry. It's 10 tablespoons of butter. So it's 1 stick and 1/4 of the other stick. Okay. Sorry. Okay, I don't see any other questions, you guys. So I don't want to make this longer than... No, really, Wendy? What am I gonna do? Because so many people saved it already. I need a moment. Okay, Norma. That's right. Norma, you did it right. Ya no me digan. Yeah. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. And I literally triple check because I know that once I post it, that is it. You know, that is it. So I triple check my spelling. I triple check, you know, the recipe. But I'm human, so... If you guys have any idea how to retract myself from this, how to save myself for people messaging me that the recipe came out so bad, please let me know. Okay, I will let you guys go because I need to go fix that now. Hopefully the people, I don't think so though. I don't think so, but hopefully a lot of them will come and look at the video. But I'm gonna have to take it down and then repost it because, or else people are not gonna. Okay, I'll let you guys go. I'm gonna go cry. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I hope you guys try them. All right, so 10 tablespoons of butter. Bye-bye.